What's up guys, Mike here back in the aquarium lab with a brand new aquascaping video. Now I know we just redid the 125 gallon tank a couple of months ago, but you know what, it's time to do it again. I got antsy and the other day I just went for it. So today we're gonna be going through that entire process. I'm excited to show you guys the new scape. I really enjoy it and I think you guys are gonna really like it too. Before we get going, I wanna know how often you guys redo your scapes in your tanks. I do it pretty much every month or so in at least one of my aquariums. So let me and others know in the comments below and let's get right into it. And don't forget to give this video a like if you end up liking what I did over here. Okay, so before we start doing anything, here is the tank as it is. The first step that I'm going to do is go in and start taking out some of the plants like the Blixa and maybe some of the Java fern, just basically as much as I can without getting the water too cloudy. And I'm doing this just because I need to take the fish out and it's gonna be a lot easier to get these fish out if there's not a ton of plants for them to hide behind. And I'm choosing to take the fish out of the tank for this rescape because this one is going to be super invasive. I'm going to have to drain the water down pretty much all the way, and I obviously don't want to have my fish in there for when it gets down that low. So let's go ahead and try and get some of these plants out without muddying the water up too much. So now with most of the big stuff out of the tank, I'm now gonna go ahead and try and get out as many fish as I can. I have a tub down here which I'm about to fill up with the tank water, as well as some other tubs here with the plants in them. You can see the Java fern is out. I'm just gonna be using a spray bottle to keep it wet in the meantime. Now you'll notice that the water here isn't super clear. It is a little cloudy from when we moved everything, but because the fish are only going to be in this tub for a few hours, I'm not really concerned about it. If they were going to be in the tub, say overnight or maybe even longer than that, then I would have drained water out of the tank first to get the cleanest water in that tub as possible. It took a long time to get most of the fish out, guys. Obviously, I didn't want to show you that entire process. You get the point. So with pretty much all the fish out of the tank, with the exception of a few cherry barbs that are managing to take refuge over here in the S. repens and the driftwood, I'm now going to take out the chain swords that I have here in the front and then eventually drain the tank down almost all the way. Now, because I still have some cherry barbs in here, I'm going to keep my eyes open, and as I'm doing this, I'm going to be trying to get them out. It's my goal to get every fish out of this tank so we don't have anybody, going through any extreme conditions. I also took out the Java fern over here on the left. Remember, I'm also spraying my Java fern out here to keep it moist. I filled up this tub that has all the Blixa in it, so I'm pretty good on plants, but I have to stay nearby to keep this Java fern a little wet. If I left the garage here for, an hour or two, it would be pretty much all dried out. Not a big deal for Java fern. It can take it, but I want to keep it as happy as possible. You can see here the tub also has a lid on it with all my fish to prevent any of them from jumping out because the water level is so high. But I'm just gonna do my best, and let's go ahead and get this stuff out of here. So once we got the tank down to this super low level, I was able to get the remaining cherry barbs and the auto or two that was hiding out over here in the S. repens. So now with the tank drained down all the way, I'm gonna start to add in some more substrate. In this case, it's gonna be just plain gravel, and I'm gonna create some mounds. So I'm gonna create a mound over here, sort of off center to the right, and then I think what I'm gonna do is build up this far right side as well. What I want to do is create a new focal point here in the middle and then have it sort of cut back into a lower point here and then another hill over here. So kind of emulating what we have over here with the tree. I don't want to move any of this stuff, but I want to kind of try and have this sloped feel over here on the right, as well as have that mound that I'm talking about right here, sort of on the off center, and then a little cut back here, and then we'll go with this little cut back here. So what I'm gonna do to create that new focal point is to use some of this manzanita driftwood, these two pieces that I have bunched together here, and sort of create a branching wood look that has Java fern behind it. Now this manzanita driftwood is some awesome stuff. I got it from manzanitadirect.com. It's my favorite place to get manzanita wood. I think you guys should definitely check it out if you're interested in aquascaping with wood. I'll put a link down in the description so you can check it out if you're interested. But let's go ahead and get some new gravel in the tank. This is just a half a bucket filled up with some pre-washed gravel, and I'm gonna put it in this center piece, or this center area right here. Now the wood is in the tank, and I think I have everything just the way I want it. Again, here's that centerpiece, or that focal point that I was talking about, and we sort of emulated sort of what is over here on the left. Obviously, we don't have another stump. We can't make another stump over here. That'd be cool, but we put in just a couple pieces here to sort of round things out. Now all that's left to do is place the Java fern back behind some of the pieces of wood here, and then we're gonna redo the front with the Blixa, and eventually take some S-Repins and sprinkle it in here in the front. I don't know if we're gonna get to it today. I don't have enough that I can take from over here to really fill it out over here. I'm gonna have to take some from my 90 and a little bit from the 72 to make it work, so that might not happen today, but we're gonna get the Java fern put back in and that Blixa position in the front here right now. So now that I have all the Java fern in place, and you can see here I also put in a couple rocks here and over here on the right, what I'm gonna do is fill the tank up a little bit and then put in some of the Blixa that we have down here in the tub. I'm gonna fill the tank up a little bit because the Blixa is really top heavy and it's tough to plant with no water in the tank. With all the Blixa now in place, I'm gonna go throughout the bottom of the aquarium and suck up all of the detritus and soil that's sitting down here on top of the substrate. I'm gonna try and drain out the least amount of water required here, again because I'm battling with temperature. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then we're gonna fill the tank up back about halfway and get it up to an adequate temperature so we can add our fish back in. So we have the tank now filled up almost all the way. There's a little bit of room here, and I'll talk about why in a second. The temperature is at about 70 degrees, so we can start to add in our fish here in a second, but I want to talk about some of the changes that I made to the tank that I didn't mention before we cut into showing me working on it. I ended up adding some more rocks to the right and the left side of the center focal point here, as well as some more rocks over here on the right and one over here on the left. I sprinkled in a few more blixes here and there. I also added in some more wood here to this part of the scape. You can tell just by the color difference there, the lighter stuff is obviously the new wood, and all this wood over time, over the next couple of weeks, is gonna turn this nice dark brown color like it is over here, this aged tree trunk here. Everything will look the same. So let me know what you guys think of the new scape on the 125. Do you like it better? Do you wish I would have done something a little bit different? Let me know in the comments below. I have my siphon here, which is hooked up to a pump down here, which is gonna pump in the water that the fish have been in back into the tank. That's why I left a little bit here, because I wanna pump in some water that they're used to. This is just my attempt to make them a little less stressed. Whether or not it really helps is sort of up in the air. It's not a ton of water volume, but it's just something that I've always done and probably will continue to do just for peace of mind. I have the filter back on. You can see it running there in the back, as well as the circulation pump, which has been on this whole time while the water's been getting up to temperature. You can see that it's still a little cloudy in here, but it's not bad. We're gonna go ahead and add the fish and then touch back tomorrow once the tank is looking a lot more clear and the fish aren't as skittish. Alright, so we're back about 24 hours later, and you can tell right away the tank is much clearer than it was before we left it. Now I'm just gonna go through, check stuff out, find the areas that I'm not super happy with so I can make small changes and get everything just the way I want it. Right away, I'm looking at the areas in between sort of the three sections that I created, making sure that I can see enough space, or I have enough space here, because that's what I wanted to be able to sort of create this separate little island, if you will. So I'm looking over here and I see some blixa here that I need to push back a little bit because I want there to be more open space there, as well as maybe a little bit more here on the left side. I also know right away that I want to add in some red plants to the front here to kind of create a little bit more of an accent, maybe even put some over here on the right side. But other than that, you know, I'm pretty happy with it. The blixa is a little overbearing here. These were big plants that we put in right away, and it sort of covers up, you know, a little bit of the character that the driftwood had. But, you know, I can live with that. I think another thing that's sort of distracting with the scape right now is the fact that this driftwood, the new driftwood that I put in, hasn't been cured yet. You know, it's that bright color, and it sort of conflicts with the older wood there. So once this wood settles in, cures itself, gets that nice brown color, I think the entire scape is gonna flow just a little bit better. Speaking of driftwood, you know, I'm looking over here, I'm looking at these pieces in here, and maybe I want to add in a couple more to create, you know, more teeth over here on the right side, if you will, and sort of have it look a little bit more like this. But yeah, I'm just sort of, you know, thinking about what changes I could make, how I could make the tank look better, and then I'm just gonna go in and then do little things here and there until I have everything just the way that I want it. So obviously one of my goals right away is to emulate the carpet that I have over here on the left with the S-Repins over here on the right. That's gonna be difficult because I don't have a ton of it to work with, and it took a long time to get this carpet looking the way it does right now. But I'm gonna have to just go with it and be patient. So yeah guys, that's the new scape for now. I'm not gonna make any more changes in this video, but I wanna hear what you guys think of this new layout. What do you think of it? What could I have done differently? What would you like to see me do? Let me know down in the comments below, and let's talk about it. If you like this video guys, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell so you know the exact moment that I upload a brand new video. I appreciate it so much guys. We'll see you in the next video.